Throughout the years of Pokemon, several real-life countries have turned into Pokemon regions. This showcases a huge variety of new Pokemon, landmarks, and even gimmicks based off the country used as reference. But these are my personal picks of future countries to turn into Pokemon regions based off their ecosystem, creatures, and mythology. I'm HermitGRAB, and these are 10 countries that need to be Pokemon regions. Number 10, Germany. I think Germany would provide really good landscapes and brand new Pokemon or Pokemon forms based off of certain areas like Berlin, the Black Forest, and the German Alps. Potential areas like the Brandenburg Gate would be great as a hub world or a city. The Black Forest would take a role similar to the Viridian Forest or Petalburg Woods, but larger. I would also like to see creatures like the bicolored shrew and the alpine ibex become Pokemon. I would also like to include some Norse mythology into the German region due to it being a part of German mythology, and also include mythological creatures like elves, trolls, and even more dragons. Number 9, Mexico. Mexico being a Pokemon region could provide incredible Pokemon designs and potentially new forms for Pokemon like Ludicolo and Maractus. Personally, I would love to see potential Lucha Libre representation in the region since luchador wrestling is treated as a big deal in Mexico. Hopefully, we can get a villain version of Hawlucha as the wrestling heel to its typical face demeanor. There is already a well-known fan-made Mexico Pokemon region named the Meso region created by Lugia, and I recommend seeing Prad Magic's video on the matter to explore all what the Meso region has to offer. Overall, I believe that the Mexico Pokemon region would be super interesting and even include Pokemon based off the ecosystem, the landmarks, and even some of the delicious Mexican food. Number 8, Russia. This could potentially be the largest region in Pokemon if Game Freak decided to go with Russia as the reference region, especially considering an open world scenario. I chose Russia majorly due to the lack of Ice-type Pokemon in the games, so a place known for its cold temperature would be best for the Ice-type. I would also like to see the Russian brown bear as a future Pokemon or Pokemon regional variant. I would also like to see some reference of Tetris in the region since it is the most well-known game from the country. Number 7, Greece. Now, Greece as a Pokemon region would be amazing already, but the construction, the landmarks, and the views would be absolutely spectacular. But the history and even mythology would be incredible. I would also love to see a rival or champion based off of Alexander the Great, and a psychic-type gym leader based off the numerous Greek philosophers. I would also like to see some kind of Olympic Games gimmick for the region, since Greece is the birthplace of it. Also, Greek mythology in the Pokemon world would be amazing. Since we have so many legendary Pokemon these days, I would like to see a legendary Pokemon pantheon. Number 6, Canada. Canada would have an amazing geography to traverse around and several beautiful places for a Pokemon game. Places like Banff and Churchill would be great for geography and potential wild areas in the game, while places like CN Tower would be interesting to see in urban areas. I would also like to see the Frenetic Chateau have some kind of connection to the old chateau. For Pokemon, a moose, a polar bear, and even a new regional variant for Bibarel would be interesting for the region. Obviously, Niagara Falls should be included here as either a late-game water-type gym or the place where the Pokemon League is held. And of course, there should be some form of Maple Leaf Pokemon. Number 5, the Celtic Nations. Technically, we already had this in Sword and Shield, but I would like to see more of what the Celtic side specifically can provide. In terms of mythology, I would like to see creatures and figures like Kelpie, Changeling, Setanta, and Werewolves of Ossuary turn into Pokemon. In terms of appearance, not much would change from the Sword and Shield aesthetic, but much can change from the contents of the game. Number 4, Africa. Widely known as nature but in hard mode, Africa would be absolutely spectacular as a Pokemon game just from the potential Pokemon alone. I know that Africa is not a country, but rather a continent, but I would still like for it to become a region in the game. Of course, you need to include the big five into the region, with either a new Pokemon or a new regional variant for pre-existing Pokemon. The wild area would be perfect here with a slight touch of Pokemon Snap, and that would be perfect as the region's gimmick. Forests, cities, savannas, and plenty of other areas would be perfect in showing the region's beauty, and of course, needs to be difficult due to the wildlife of the area. Number 3. Egypt. Egypt is a bit different than the others, since I see Egypt best utilized as a Pokemon Legends Arceus type region like Hisui, rather than the typical core series Pokemon game like Unova. By this logic, we need to focus on ancient Egypt and Egyptian mythology for this game. This means figures like Horus, Set, Anubis, Ra, and many others should become legendary Pokemon or mythical Pokemon. Also, landmarks like the Sphinx and the pyramids can become Pokemon as well, similar to the pyramid turtle in Yu-Gi-Oh! Also, regional variants for several Pokemon like Cofagrigus, Arbok, and Lucario are necessary since they have an appearance that is similar to many figures and creatures in Egypt and Egyptian mythology. Number 2. Australia. Australia has plenty of different animals to turn into Pokemon, and I personally believe it is the best place to buff the poison type. Australia has plenty, and I mean plenty, of venomous animals that can turn into powerful poison type Pokemon like the Taipan, box jellyfish, redback spider, and several more potential poison type Pokemon. There are notable animals like kangaroos and koalas that can turn into Pokemon as well, or even regional variants of the like, and the environment of Australia seems perfect for a Pokemon game. And number 1, the Philippines. The Philippines has everything you need in a Pokemon game because there are some regions that can be combined into becoming a region based on the Philippines. You can have the beaches and islands from both Hoenn and Alola. You can have the metropolitan areas like Metro Manila that are similar to Unova. You have the Pangaea region, which is based off of Spain, and the Philippines has plenty of similarities to Spain. Not only do you have the locations, but you can also include animals that are exclusive to the Philippines, like the Tarsier, Golden Crown Flying Fox, the Philippine Eagle, and several more. Now, there are several other animals to reference them into becoming a Pokemon, but there are also folktales and mythological creatures that can become Pokemon as well, like the Aswang, the Capre, Multo, San Telmo, and the Bakunawa. The Philippines has plenty to offer in the Pokemon world, and Game Freak has plenty to take inspiration from, like the folktales, myths, historical figures, landmarks, and even tribes. There is a fan-made Pokemon region based off the Philippines, and I really like what I'm seeing there, and you can also check out Pragmagic's video on the top right corner of your screen to find out more about the Bayan region. Thank you guys for watching my video, and please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel with post notifications on. Comment down below what country would you like to see become a Pokemon region. I'll reply to as many comments as I can. I'm HermitGRAB, and I'll see you soon.